What's up, guys? Welcome to Liberate Your Money, episode 26. Oh, man, is this year ever going to be over with? Well, at least we've got Bitcoin, we've got the cryptocurrency space, we've got precious metals taking off, we got a bull market. What more could you ask for? Oh, the election is almost here. It'll be over soon, guys. Until then, let's talk about some stuff. I found this really cool article on visualcapitalist.com, and what it does is it helps to visualize how early we are in the cryptocurrency space. And how it works is each one of these little blocks here equals $100 billion, and then the context to it can be found on the right side. So this first one, the value of all above ground silver stocks is $43.9 billion. So silver gets one little square. It's actually below the 100 billion. Cryptocurrency space, at the time he wrote this, which he actually wrote this article this year, May of 2020, so he basically wrote it like 2 weeks after the Bitcoin halving, which I think is interesting because he says the cryptocurrency, the total market cap is $244 billion, when actually right now it's $394 billion. So we've added about $150 billion to the total market cap for the cryptocurrency space since the Bitcoin halving in May, which I think is pretty interesting. Been in a bull market, and at the peak of the last bull market, mind you, the space was at $1 trillion. So we're a quarter of the way to the peak of the previous market cap high, total market cap high. So we're a long way, and we're gonna get above that. It's gonna hit $1 trillion, and we're gonna go above that. So I think it's interesting. It shows you that the Bitcoin total market cap is literally two squares, two of these small little squares. And if we scroll down, you can compare it to, okay, our military spending, the Fed's balance sheet. Look at all these squares. Just wait. Okay, we compare it to gold. Look how much gold has in its marketplace. And then there's below ground reserves that we don't even really know about, or know how much is there really. If we look at the gold market cap, it's 10.9 trillion estimated. 10.9 trillion. Bitcoin's at 394 billion. It's so small, and yet the price of one Bitcoin is $12,000. So how could that be? Well, it's because of the supply of Bitcoin is so small. There's literally only like 18 million coins in circulation, and there will ever be 21 million. So that's why you have this supply-demand crunch that sets the price higher. And, that's the investment thesis surrounding Bitcoin as a whole, plus its deflationary model, which every 4 years we have the halving, which decreases the rate of supply. So what's that going to do to price? Price is going to go up, right? We've talked about this a million times. If we scroll down, look at how many squares are in the stock market. Each one of these squares is $100 billion. New York Exchange, NASDAQ, all other exchanges. Global debt, household debt, government debt, global real estate. Look how many billions are in it. There's so much. Look, all these trillions of dollars are locked up in all this. To think that the cryptocurrency space can't grow past $1 trillion as it sits at about $400 billion, it's crazy. There's so much money out there, and the Fed is only printing more. And that's why we're seeing this rise in these markets. That's why we're seeing people flee to scarce assets and precious metals and cryptocurrency. And we're going to continue to see that because what's the Fed said that they're going to do? They're not going to slow down. The only solution the Fed, the Federal Reserve, and central banks in general have is to print more money. When they print more money, it helps to save markets. It helps to make it look like the economy is working and it's moving money around and making it look like we're all right. I personally don't think we are. Obviously, a lot of things are at a standstill right now. Governments are shutting businesses down. forget about the virus. Our governments are getting out of control with, their regulations and the masks and the shutting businesses down at will, and, they're finding out a spike in an age group, so they're shutting down the bars, and, because they're the ones that are out. And it's like, this whole fiasco is just a totalitarian fucking dream. And we're seeing a lot of them play into that hand, and it's pretty scary, honestly. But besides that, back to the markets, the Fed is going to continue to print. Markets are going to continue to go up. The dollar is going to continue to go down in value. And that's why I think we're seeing a lot of people flee to the gold, flee to the silver, flee to the Bitcoin, because we're seeing with the price appreciation that people are getting smarter. They're saying, you know what, I'm going to take, if the Fed's just going to print a ton of money, I know what that does to my purchasing power, so what's the point of me holding the majority of my savings in cash? It's dumb. Cash is trash. Nowhere in the Federal Reserve does it say that it's their duty to preserve your wealth. That's not their duty. Their duty is to make sure that the economy keeps working. Job loss in the economy and the money and the markets and everything keeps moving. That's their job, and they're going to print money to make sure that that happens. When they do that, they're basically saying, fuck your purchasing power, the value of your currency that you hold most of your wealth in. We're going to do this to do our job. Now it's your job to figure out how to preserve your wealth. Well, that's why we're seeing this bull run. People are figuring out that it's their job to get out of cash, to get out of US dollars, get out of their fiat currency and into something that's going to appreciate in value while their currency depreciates. It's the whole reason that we're seeing people, the bull market, the gold bull market, the silver bull market, the Bitcoin bull market, it's all related to that. You talk to anybody and their financial advisors are saying, people are coming to them like crazy, like, hey, cash is trash. I need to invest. And that's why I do this channel. That's why, I started this podcast, mainly for my friends and family, my close friends and family, just to show them my point of view, where I'm coming from, why I'm investing in the things I do. This is not financial advice at all, by any means. Not a financial advisor. But I think it's important to look at these sort of things, and I'm just giving my point of view. So back to gold and Bitcoin, right? So gold's popping off, Bitcoin's popping off. I got a lot of friends that are investing in gold bugs. They're like, man, you got to get in. I'm like, I get it. Gold's been around for 5,000 years. I understand, but I'm sorry, it's just not millennial native. It's the boomer asset, in my opinion. It's what the boomers are comfortable investing in, because that's what they're familiar with. It's been around forever, and that's what they're familiar with. I think that my generation and generations below me are going to be more crypto and more digitally native, and you're going to see Bitcoin become the new gold. It's going to take some of this market share. Some of these squares are going to be heading up here to the cryptocurrency space, and this is going to grow. That's my investment thesis. That's why I'm so bullish on crypto, because it's just a smarter way of transacting. It's a smarter way of storing your wealth. It's resistant to governments, and you can't shut it down. And it's literally a Austrian economics wet dream, basically. It's sound money. It's a sound store of value. And if we look at gold compared to Bitcoin on a chart, since its inception, this shows gold versus Bitcoin. And if you would have invested in gold, the value of your gold in Bitcoin continually went down since the life of Bitcoin. And I think you're going to continue to see that. Basically what this chart says is, in 2011 when Bitcoin came out, you should have bought Bitcoin instead of gold. At any time in Bitcoin's life, basically, besides these troughs down here, it's always been a better time to buy Bitcoin than gold. And I look at this chart and I go, okay, maybe I should look at Bitcoin instead of gold. Not only does it go up a lot faster and for more percentages, it's crushing gold. It's absolutely slaughtering gold and silver. And if we look at this little article here that shows us this handy chart that shows us Bitcoin year to date, and this was back in, when was this article done? I think it was in August. Oh, it was published today. So Bitcoin year to date, 64%, gold 28%, silver 49%. So Bitcoin's crushing all of them, and it's been crushing all of them since its inception, and that's what this chart shows. And I just think it's important to visually see it, because when you see it on a chart, it's a lot different than being like, okay, I would much, if you just ask a person gold or Bitcoin, they'd be like, oh, I know gold, I know what it is, it's more established. Bitcoin is kind of like this new thing, I don't know. But when you like dig into it in the technicals, like it's a no-brainer that you would buy Bitcoin over gold, like just by looking at the technicals. This chart, just the slow volatility in gold is like, it's not an opportunity to make money. I'm not saying it's a bad investment. I think it's going to be a great investment for the next 10 years, or until we continue to have a fiat currency model. Gold's always going to have a place as an asset class. I just think that Bitcoin is better at being gold. It's easier to transact, it's easier to verify, it's government resistant. It's a lot of things that gold isn't, but it still has that scarce quality to it, and it's digitally native, which I think that younger generations are going to adapt to and be more adaptive to, versus gold, which is like this archaic, boxed in, a bunch of oligopolies run it and control the market. And it's like, Bitcoin's different. It's like this wild internet thing, and it's crushing everything. And I think it's going to continue to do so. And if we look at the chart that I made, my trusty Bitstamp chart, we can see price relative to previous cycles. The first halving in this cycle, the second halving in this cycle, and we just had our third halving. Third halving happened at a price of $8,800, and we're sitting at roughly 12K. So I think there's something to be said about that. We've got this head and shoulder, this inverse head and shoulders. That would be a shoulder, a head, a shoulder, and we're breaking out of this neckline right here. We're gonna go test them highs sometime by the end of the year, or I think it's going to happen by the end of the year, to be honest with you. It's September. I think in 3 months we're going to see Bitcoin at least make a run on that 14K, and maybe even on the highs. And if we look at this Look Into Bitcoin website, I believe I brought this up to you guys once before, but this is the home page. You go to charts, and it's got all this lovely data. And this first one here, the Bitcoin Investor Tool, like if you're not a trader or you're not new to investing, or this is a great tool. It's got 2 moving averages, one on the bottom, one on the top. Basically, whenever it gets below this green, it's a great time to buy. Whenever it gets above the red, it's a great time to sell. Price got a little extended, and it was a great time to sell when it got above that red line. And as you can see right now, at 12K, we're not even to the midpoint. The top of it is at 38,000. The midpoint is like, 30, or 15, 17, 19,000, I think would be the midpoint. And we're sitting at 12,000. So, I mean, it's still on the bottom spectrum, the buy spectrum, you could say. Until we get up to that 38,000, then you might think about taking some profits. So this is just an investor tool. I like to use it. If we look at the stock to flow, this is kind of and this website's cool. The bottom below the charts tells you how these indicators came to be, like what they are and what they do. In the stock to flow, basically, slightly self-explanatory. It has to do with how many Bitcoin are out there, and the demand. It has to do with the supply and the demand of it. And based on, basically what it does is it bakes in the halving that happens every 4 years, and that's when you see this moving average line breaks up every 4 years, because Bitcoin has a halving. That's the stock to flow model of Bitcoin. It's built into the protocol that every 4 years the supply gets cut in half, or not cut in half, but the rate of supply, because there's Bitcoin that gets supplied to the network every day, a limited amount, in that supply that gets supplied every day gets cut in half every 4 years. So that's why that moving average moves up, and as you can see, it's following it to a T right now. Right where we're at, it's moving up this moving average. And that moving average right now is set at $100,000 by the peak of the next cycle. That's saying by May 2021. I don't think that's going to happen, but you know, it could, relative to previous cycles and relative to the stock to flow model and the moving average. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, if you look at the forecast for 2026, that's 6 years from now, about 5 years from now. $1 million per Bitcoin. It sounds crazy, but like, if we go back to the total market cap and we go back to, you know, this article that shows these little squares and how small we are, you know, if we get 10 or 15 of these squares, these $200 billion squares, the price is gonna skyrocket, guys. It's gonna continually go up, and I think we're gonna continue to see price appreciation. I'm excited for this bull run. We're in a bull run. If you don't know, now you know. You know, I think we're right here in the previous cycle. We are right here. We're breaking out of the range. The parabolic run is about to start on this side of the halving. That's what happens. We have the halving, and then we have a parabolic bull run. Halving, parabolic bull run. Halving, it's the beginning of a parabolic bull run. It's $12K, I can't afford it. You can buy 0.00001 of a Bitcoin, throw $100 at it. I know I will be. I've been doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it, and that's my investment thesis. Yeah, the bull run is here. What are your guys' bets on price? Subscribe to my channel. Tell me where you think the Bitcoin price is gonna be at the end of the year. I'd love to hear it. Like I said, I think we're gonna test all-time highs by end of the year or by early next year. You know, a lot could happen. You know, if the stock market crashes or something crazy like that, I think Bitcoin's gonna dip. Everything is slightly correlated right now. I mean, all markets are slightly correlated, and I think the reason for that is the Federal Reserve. You know, if we didn't have fiat currency in the Federal Reserve, you know, would Bitcoin even be a thing? I don't know if it would be, because this is literally, it was thought up as a tool, a better form of money, a digital form of money that you can't double spend, that you can't govern away, that you can't control. It was used to create a vehicle, a better form of money that people could use or to store their wealth in, and that's exactly what it's doing. And that's why people are fleeing to it. That's why we got this bull market. As long as there's a Federal Reserve printing money, we're going to continue to see markets go up. You know, not just Bitcoin. The stock market's booming. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty volatile for the markets. I think we're going to have some volatility. You know, I don't think it's going to just go straight up. In the bull market, you have 30% pullbacks. You know, these pullbacks right here, they sting, man. You know, this all went up, but look at these pullbacks. You know, that's a 30%, 25% pullback. You know, when your price is going up and we have a pullback like that, like, people start to get worried and sell, panic sell. And then the next thing you know, it's going up, ripping another 100% on your ass. So we're going to find out how strong the hands that a lot of people got too. So I'm still a buyer. I'm not selling until, you know, we get to that top of the 2-year range, and we get to that 38,000. Hit that red line up there, right? Maybe start to think about taking some profits or moving into some altcoins and just trying to protect my wealth. All right, man. I'm gonna get out of here. I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace.